Right, so let's unpack this. We're doing a deep dive today into a topic where, the family drama is just as loud as the music itself.
Absolutely.
Our subject is the unbelievably complex legacy left behind by the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne.
Mm.
He passed away on July 22, 2025 at 76, but his final act, it was this monumental, really history-making farewell concert just a few weeks before.
It's such a study in duality, really. The sources we've gathered, they give us this clear view of the global spectacle.
Yeah, the rock god in the stadium.
Exactly, the rock god facing his mortality. But they also, and this is crucial, they open a window into the intensely private, often strained relationships among his 6 kids.
And from 2 very different chapters of his life.
2 very different chapters. So
Yeah.
our mission today is to figure out what happens when a life this big, this public, ends. We're tracing the final moves on Ozzy's very complex family chessboard.
It's so important we map out the family structure first because the different marriages, they really did create these dramatically divergent life paths for the children.
They really did.
The first chapter, the one that's often unseen, belongs to his kids with his first wife, Thelma Riley. They married way back in 1971.
Right. And that's where we find the adopted stepson, Elliot Kingsley, then Jessica Starshine Osbourne, who's born in 72, and Louis Osbourne, born in 1975.
These are the kids who grew up, for the most part, shielded from the huge international media storm that was coming.
Then you have the second family, the one everyone recognizes from TV, with his wife Sharon. They married in 82.
And that's Amy, born in 83, Kelly, born in 84, and of course, Jack, born in 1985.
So our goal is to synthesize how Ozzy's passing has reshaped the narratives around all 6 of them.
Focusing on that colossal public farewell and then the quiet family dynamics that came after.
And what a way to go out. That final show was more than just music. It was just a demonstration of pure will.
Let's talk about that spectacle. The show, back to the beginning, at Villa Park in Birmingham, July 5th, 2025. This was not just a concert. It felt more like an 8-hour heavy metal summit.
The scale of it was just staggering. We're talking 45,000 tickets. They sold out in 16 minutes.
16 minutes.
Gone with these massive virtual queues. And for everyone watching globally, the pay-per-view live stream, it peaked at 5.8 million concurrent streams.
Wow. That's a stadium full of people plus a small country watching from home.
Basically, yeah.
What's so fascinating here, and what really shifts the whole narrative of a rock farewell, is the context behind it all.
The health and the charity aspect.
Exactly. Ozzy had been diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2019, and the sources confirmed that by early 2025, he had lost the ability to walk.
Right. And he performed his whole set, the solo stuff, the Black Sabbath portion, seated on this massive black throne. So this final act was this deliberate pivot, away from the sort of self-indulgence you associate with rock culture. The sources, they really emphasize that Ozzy insisted on staging it in Aston, his birthplace. He wanted to, and I'm quoting, give back to the place where I was born.
And all the profits went to charity.
All of it. Cure Parkinson's, Birmingham Children's Hospital, and Acorn Children's Hospice. The vulnerability was so visible, but that commitment to his hometown, it was absolute.
That contrast is just staggering. You have the Prince of Darkness seated on this huge, almost regal throne, performing for charity, knowing it's his last note.
Yeah.
But, in the middle of this enormous historical moment, there was this little flash of that signature Osbourne chaos we all know.
And here's where it gets really interesting, because it ties the public and private together so perfectly. Kelly Osbourne got engaged to Sid Wilson from Slipknot.
At the concert.
The
proposal happened while Ozzy was watching from the throne.
It did. Kelly told the story later, saying that as Sid started to propose, Ozzy, just being Ozzy, even in his final public moments, he interrupts with a joke.
What did he say?
He yelled, and this is a direct quote from the sources, "F off, you're not marrying my daughter."
Oh my God.
It's a perfect microcosm of the whole family history, isn't it?
It really is. The spectacle, the emotional moment, and the chaotic humor all smashed together in one sentence.
Yeah. So the world saw the history. They saw the public chaos. But for every moment like that, there were decades of life lived completely off camera.
Which brings us to the children who built their lives specifically away from all that noise. We have to look at Thelma Riley's kids, Jessica and Louis, and then Amy, who chose this really radical privacy.
This is the analytical core of it, the Osbourne divergence.
So where do we start?
Let's start with Jessica Starshine Osbourne and Elliot Kingsley, who remain intensely private. Jessica never appeared on the Osbournes. Her career choices, acting in dramas like Better Call Saul and Tea and Egged, they show a clear preference for creative work that doesn't rely on inherited celebrity.
And the sources highlight that emotional distance from Ozzy's early career. Jessica said in a documentary back in 2011 that she didn't have many early memories of her father, just because of his touring life. That's a powerful insight into the real cost of being a rock icon's child. It wasn't the fame, it was the absence.
And then you have Louis Osbourne. He's 50, he's based in Birmingham, and he has intentionally built this successful, non-mainstream career. He's a DJ, label owner, music partners, producer.
And a law graduate, which I find fascinating.
Me too.
Yeah.
Just further emphasizes that he has this life and identity completely separate from arena rock.
Do the sources suggest that Louis staying in Birmingham, focusing on the underground scene, was that like an act of resistance to the family's Hollywood life?
We were.
Or just a coincidence?
It feels very deliberate. I mean, he chose the complete opposite of his father's success. Smaller venues, niche music, local roots.
But he supported his dad's final show.
Oh, deeply. He publicly admitted he was anxious for months about Ozzy being able to perform with Parkinson's. But then he said he was so relieved that Ozzy nailed it.
So the love is there.
The love is definitely there, but his life trajectory just shows this deep, deep independence.
And we see that same radical desire for independence in the second family with Amy Osbourne. Amy was born in '83, the oldest of Sharon's kids, but she moved out of the family home at 16.
Right when the Osbournes reality show started filming in 2002.
That's a huge decision for a 16-year-old.
The sources say how painful that was for her mother. Sharon later confessed regret over it, noting Amy hated the idea. It was appalling to her.
Appalling to her. That phrase says so much about her psychological rejection of being documented 24/7.
And just like her half-brother Louis, she went into music, but completely on her own terms. She fronts a synth pop band called ARO.
Right, and her song from 2015, Raining Gold, was basically a therapy session set to music, right?
It was. It was all about that isolating feeling of being misunderstood as the daughter of a legendary rock star.
This is the real crux of it all, the divergence. Inherited fame versus chosen privacy.
And Amy's acted choice, it created this deep, lasting rift with her younger siblings, Kelly and Jack.
They still don't talk.
Kelly confirmed it in 2021. She said, "We don't talk. We're just really different." And Amy told The Independent that while there's an acceptance now, they absolutely don't socialize.
It's an important point for you, the listener, to consider. When a family is that famous, the choice to just reject the spotlight becomes a major life event. It can split a family just as much as anything else.
Precisely. For Jack and Kelly, public life was embraced. It became their industry. For Amy, Louis, and Jessica, their focus was protecting their own internal world from all that noise.
But death often forces a reckoning. And in the months after Ozzy's final show, that family map started to subtly shift.
It did. The shared grief and, surprisingly, the grandkids, they started bridging some of those gaps.
The next generation is definitely growing. Jack Osbourne is all in on fatherhood. He has 4 daughters now.
4. Pearl, Andy, and Minnie from his previous marriage, and his youngest, Maple Artemis, with his wife, Arigi Gearhart.
Who he secretly married in September 2023.
Right. Always a bit of chaos.
And the emotional anchors now are, well, the smallest ones. Kelly's son, Sydney, who's 3. He was at the center of this really lovely local story.
He was set to be the mascot for Ozzy's beloved hometown soccer team, Aston Villa.
For their December game, just a sweet little detail.
It is. And Kelly shared that Sydney loved having cartoon time with Grandpa Ozzy before he passed. That imagery is so poignant.
It really is. The guy known for biting heads off bats, quietly cuddling a toddler for cartoons. It shows the profound contrast between the public persona and the private man.
And that shared geography, Birmingham, the place Ozzy insisted on for his final concert, that became a powerful bridge between the famously separate siblings.
This is the part that really surprised me. The sources detail a rare and very public reunion between Kelly, who's 41 now, and her usually private half-brother Louis, who is 50.
In December 2025.
They were pictured together at the Aston Villa game, supporting the team, coordinating their outfits in the team colors.
And Kelly shared the photo. She called Louis her pillar in the wake of their father's death. This is huge.
It really is. The reality TV star leaning on the underground DJ for support.
It suggests a profound shift in priorities after Ozzy's death.
And it wasn't just a photo op. Kelly also said that Christmas will never be the same without her magical father. But in that same thought, she praised Louis' presence.
And she mentioned a lovely domestic detail.
Shepherd's pie.
Yes. how Ozzy had passed down his culinary skills, specifically for shepherd's pie and chips, to Louis.
That is an incredible detail.
It is. The fact that the Prince of Darkness passed down this mundane, quintessentially British skill to make a perfect shepherd's pie to his most private son,
Hmm.
it just underscores this idea
What idea is that?
that the truest legacy is often found in the quiet, supportive domestic moments that no camera ever gets to see.
It definitely feels like the final chapter is being written with a lot less chaos and a lot more quiet support than we ever saw in the early 2000s.
For sure. But the narrative isn't fully closed. Ozzy's final chapter is still being documented.
Right. There's a new memoir, Last Rites, which is scheduled for release on October 7th.
And the feature-length documentary, Ozzy Osbourne, No Escape from Now, which is set for release late 2025 or early 2026.
So we've charted this complex map of Ozzy's final chapter. From the spectacular history-making concert where he performed while physically unable to stand,
To the quiet, emotional moments shared by his 6 very individual children who are finally finding a way to connect through shared grief and, well, their shared local roots.
what's so evident from all this material is the dual nature of his legacy. On one hand, you have this colossal public farewell, this huge charity spectacle he insisted on to give back. That was a spectacular noise.
Yet in the aftermath, his kids, even the ones who were estranged, like Kelly and Louis, they're finding connection, not in Hollywood, not on TV, but through private memories and supporting a local football team.
Mm-hmm.
And this raises a really important question, I think. When a life is public and as loud as Ozzy's concludes, does the truest, most lasting measure of their final act lie in that spectacular noise they leave for the world? Or in the supportive, quiet bonds that finally form within the family they leave behind?
A genuinely insightful point to reflect on, especially when you think about that choice between inherited celebrity and personal privacy. You've been listening to The Deep Dive, where we uncover the sources and insights shaping pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to keep exploring the application of the knowledge gained from this deep dive.